Check, check, check. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Hello, everybody. We are the Podcast Discovery Show, and we talk about podcasts and podcast things. And
Yes, we do.
we just had Kirk's birthday.
Yeah, my birthday was Sunday.
His birthday was right in the middle of coronavirus. And so we were not able to do anything.
I just drank rum and Coke and played Hearthstone at home all day.
He actually, that's not what he would have done anyways, but it probably is. But I decided to get him a birthday present.
Uh-oh.
And that is in the form of somebody that we're going to have join the call right now.
What?
It's someone you might be familiar with.
He has to answer.
He does have to answer first. That is important to this. And I need to... We started this a little early so we could hotfix. All right, I'm going to text him. He ruined my surprise.
I'm still surprised. I was kind of hoping this might be what the surprise was, because I'm excited now. Josh is unavailable. He's fine. He'll be here in a second. That is exciting. I am excited.
I messed this up.
Did you tell him the wrong time?
No. I think I took his mic cord.
The one that plugs into the computer?
Yeah. So we'll see how he's doing this.
So he's probably running around trying to find one that might fit. Hey!
What up?
Hey man, sorry I stole your mic cord. That is my fault.
So do you have it with you?
I am thinking I might.
Alright, so I can hook up. This is my microphone.
That
from
is
my
the wrong
camera
source.
right now, which is probably not as good. I'm gonna try and hook up my earbuds to. Let me see if I can get them to connect to.
See, now I have to do this.
Yep. Here, let me see if I can make him bigger too. Let's see if I can go up.
Alright, how does this sound compared to what I was doing before? Better or worse?
Better.
Okay, so that's my earbuds, so I can do those instead of the camera microphone.
Okay. Yeah, that's my fault entirely. I think that I have it. Because I didn't have one over there, because mine are always here, and I think I stole yours
Yeah.
on accident. Because
I have one other headset I can try. Give me 1 second.
That doesn't sound bad though.
Yeah, this is going to be the best. The other one's a wired headset, so if I move around, you're going to get the noise from it dangling on my chest.
okay, yeah, no, it doesn't sound too bad. And actually, it's funny because we can hear you the same no matter where you're walking because you connected through Bluetooth.
I know, I'm in the room getting a hat now. Because my hair is busted because I haven't gone to work in 3 weeks now.
Yeah, he's right down the middle, Kirk. So yeah, Kirk added you a little an arrow as well. And it's
Nice.
pointing like straight
Looks
at
like
your
he's
head.
pointing to your microphone to me.
All right.
So now, welcome to the OG Podcast Discovery Show. And we need to actually start a recording probably at some point. Actually, we can...
How am I going to record that?
Oh, no, you're not. He's going to record on his end.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
I don't know how I'm gonna record without my
Did-
mic.
I
Hold
mean,
on.
can you just open Audacity?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I was thinking I was through my phone
I
because I've
completely
been doing
forgot
my.
I did that. I had an interview while I was at your place.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. It's not playing back through here. Hold on.
Everybody's getting to enjoy the behind-the-scenes magic
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. All the extras.
This is the pro and the con of watching the live stream. Because you could listen to the PDS and none of this will happen.
I mean, they always say that's how the sausage is made. No one actually wants to know how sausage is made. That's kind of gross, right? That's our
Yeah.
equivalent.
I think that's implied that
Yeah.
it's not great, but it tastes good. The end result is good.
This is how we make sausage. I'm excited. This is the
looks-
best birthday
This looks
gift.
lined up, so I think I can go to this so you can actually see him.
Do you guys record in mono or stereo? Mono, right?
Mono, yeah.
All right.
But I can always, put it down to mono from stereo. Doesn't matter.
All right. So we're doing the PDS proper, right?
Yes, sir. I
Yeah,
believe
we
so.
can start with that. That's fine.
I need to do some research before the, just brief research, like 30 seconds or so before the warm up, right? The other discoveries.
Yeah,
Todd.
it was called the warm
Out
up.
of
The worm up.
been out of it for a while.
Been out of the game.
How do I make it so it shows? Okay. All right. I think I'm good now.
All right, we're good.
We're set.
All right, well, then I'm going to hit record on my end. Why
I
don't
can
we
drink beer in my own home, right?
do what?
I can drink beer in my own home, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have him fairly low, so it's not getting tons in there.
Yeah, no, I can still hear him, and I figured that's what it was. Yeah, we're just drinking Red Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am recording on Audacity on my end, so we're good to go whenever.
All
Do we
right.
need to clap?
Maybe everyone just say their name right after each other. Josh, say yours first.
Josh.
Zach.
Kirk.
Okay.
All right. Well, see, they're all separate, so now I can line them up easier.
Yeah,
And he
gotcha.
went first, so I can line them up. Because with Keith, when he called in the other day, it wasn't that hard, but I had to find a moment where all three of us talked kind of close together, and then I could line them up.
Oh, okay.
So I think the clap's actually kind of difficult.
Yeah, there's latency, so it doesn't really help you too much.
I don't think that's. It can work. Anyway,
What Justin McElroy does when he records his podcast, he'll do whenever he needs an edit. So apparently he can see it on the editing,
really,
but he has like a clicker. Yeah.
Pretty genius.
that is genius. Oh, this doesn't click. Twisty pen.
Got this marker that doesn't click.
Stupid marker.
No, it has a.
It's a light.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a pen too.
Yeah. Okay. I gave this to one. I had one left from our swag from our forklift pens, and because I wanted all of my erasable pens back, I gave this one to Leah, and then Mason was mad because he didn't get one. So it's just like, oh god. The joy of having your kids at work with you.
It's been interesting. I have been scaring Mason a lot, so that's been fun.
Luckily, I'm working from home, so he can just go in his room.
Yeah, that's a little bit better than.
So he'll just go in there and watch cartoons or play his game. He has homework too. They're
Yeah.
doing learning stuff, so he posts up, does a couple hours of learning. So it's not been bad.
All right, we don't need to do 10 seconds of silence anymore with the other program that I've been using.
Okay.
It's different. It just has a noise gate, which is much better.
Yeah. No, it is better.
All right, then let's get into it. So wait, do I intro it or does he intro it? Who intros it?
Not me.
No, we need to make it
intro
now.
when
We,
we're doing it
no,
every
we
week,
should make
so
Josh
there's
do
no
it.
way.
We saw a lot of takes when he was on it all the time.
Wait, let
Wait.
me try it though. Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast about other podcasts. Where each week we dive deep into a podcast and tell you about all the things that made us think, all the things that made us feel, get off on tangents along the way. I'm Josh.
I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach.
He did it! Oh my gosh!
He got it in one take and he never did, even when he was every week
It's
doing
the
it.
first time ever. Oh man, dude,
Perfect.
I'm so excited. Okay, people are gonna be like, "Wait, did I accidentally load up an old episode of the PDS?"
You did not.
You did not. This is my birthday present. I'm so excited. I'm gonna cry.
No, and it was funny because at some point this week you're like, we should get Josh to come on the show. He can like just record from home. It'd be really easy. I was like, it's already happening, but I can't tell you. It's a surprise.
He asked us, we did a social distancing video cast together on Sunday. And he's like, Josh, when are you going to come back on the podcast? So I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, you got free time? I was like, well, I'm kind of busy.
So you already knew then?
Yeah, he knew
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, we had like a virtual hangout the other day, and that was fun.
It has been fun. I've been doing that a lot more. I will say that's one of the plus sides of all this is I've reached out to people through video chats and things like that.
But the funny thing about that night in particular was for some reason my microphone had me like 4 octaves lower than I normally talk.
Yes, it did.
And it kept messing with Zach's head, and it was great. It was funny. They just made me say things.
I'm gonna
in a
see
very
if I can.
low voice.
My roommate has a video of that. and
It
I'm
sounded
gonna-
more like I was on Cops, and they just
Yeah.
changed my voice to sound like I did not have relations with that woman.
Why is Bill Clinton on Cops? Like, it's the weirdest choice of a quote.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about podcasts.
Sorry, I got a little excited.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so this week we are going to be talking about Code Story. And the way that I found Code Story is we were on Podcorn, which we've used as a way to find advertisers before, and they were looking for some advertisement. We got them to sponsor the show, which was a great partnership. They sponsored the show, but I don't want to just talk about any podcasts and just read their thing. I want to actually listen to the show and be like, okay, well, I can have a educated guess of what the show's about. Well, I listened to their show and I'm like, this is a really good show. Like, I'm not recommending them because they asked or that they're sponsoring us, but because of the sponsorship, I found them. So that's how I
Yeah.
discovered them. But it's a really good show, and Noah is an amazing host. I will say it does get technical.
Sure.
It probably made more sense to Josh and Zach than it did to me. There was a lot of language that I didn't even understand. And actually, me and Zach had to look a few words up as we listened to it here at work. Second time I listened to it. But it's the specific episode that we're going to talk about is where Noah interviews Chris Slow from Reddit. He's the CTO of Reddit. And this is episode 19. And so what did you guys think about the show?
First, before we get to that, what were some of the words that you guys looked up?
We looked up tech debt. Was definitely
Yep.
something he threw around a lot. That it makes perfect sense once you for anybody else, but before you listen to the show, he says tech debt a lot. And what that means is a lot of times when companies are developing, they're not thinking about future expansion and what it's going to be like to roll out additional features or scale it up or anything like that. So they kind of paint themselves into a corner with how they develop in the beginning, and then at some point you have to pay the tech debt. I'm sure is what
Yeah.
the kind of the premise is behind it.
Exactly, and it's a lot of times with startups where they build, when they say MVP, minimum viable product, they'll build something that functions and they'll get it out quickly, but it won't be built sturdy or for scale. So imagine if you're trying to build a house and you're like, oh, I'm just building like basically a shed for my backyard, and you just put 4 posts up and a nice thin roof on it. Like, all right, I want to build a second floor on it. The roof is too thin, so you have to go back and rebuild the roof before you can expand and grow it. So basically that same concept in technology space, where it's just too flimsy to maintain what you want to expand it to in the future from a technical perspective, and they have to go back and invest a lot of time and money to fix things, and so that's the debt.
Yeah. So that was one of the things, and you explained it much better than we even looked it up. Now I understand it even better. I really do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm a little dumber than even what Google expected.
It's a good thing to know a couple, like he also said minimum viable product, and that's also basically what can you do so
I
people
didn't know
can
it.
use it.
I was too embarrassed to even say I didn't know what that
But
word.
it's just what can you put out so that people can use it and have a user experience on your site. Not that it's optimized, because if you wait until it's perfect, it's not going to go out.
So I did listen to a few episodes of this show, and some of them got more into the crunchy stuff, the very, technical aspect of the way that they built their product, and some of them were more in the middle. This one was very much in the middle. It had a little bit of technical stuff, but it talked a lot about the product itself, which is Reddit.
Sorry.
Dang it.
No, I'm pretty sure that came up on the live stream here too, because it's just I found a way to essentially your feed is going straight to our live stream too.
Yeah, we live stream now.
Oh no, it's not. I'm watching it. It didn't.
Oh,
so
it
it's
didn't.
Just
You're right. It is. He's putting emojis
Yeah, he's
over his
putting
face
heart
right
and
now.
thumbs up emojis over his face.
Me and Zach had to check the Skype thing earlier, and of course he didn't tell me why. We were just figuring out how to do it. I thought it was for Creators Code.
No, and it was too. It was double purpose.
Yeah, but I was like, ooh, emojis, and I was doing that a lot too. I don't even know if he noticed. And I found out that you can blur your background, which that's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, there he goes. He's trying to figure out where that is.
Where's this setting at? There it is.
Ooh. I look like I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah, you look like you got a green screen. But you green screen yourself into your own office, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's not bad though. It's pretty good.
All right, so let's get I already got the edit done, so let's figure out where we were at. So let me ask you guys. Let us find a way to give a good definition of what Reddit is for those that actually don't know what Reddit is. It's a little bit difficult.
It is tough to kind of, and that's why he asked him to describe it, because I'm sure he has to elevator pitch where Reddit is all the time. I would kind of Reddit's tagline is the front page of the internet, because it's not curated content by some person at Reddit. It's curated by Redditors, so people that are on Reddit are upvoting things. If anybody's familiar with Dig was like the original, like before Reddit there was Dig, where people can put whatever kind of content they want, and if whoever is in that group likes it, they push it to the top.
Yeah.
And so it's like a popular stream of consciousness of the entire internet, every possible hobby, every possible random subgenre of interest, kind of ever. I feel like across and I mean, it's a little bit of a generalization, but it's kind of not. If there's something you're interested in, if you have a hobby, if you have a passion of any kind, there's probably a subreddit for it that is just filled with other people.
Definitely not a generalization. There is, and things you can't even imagine.
There's things that shouldn't be a subreddit too. Like
yeah, I mean, it is the blessing and the curse of Reddit. To be honest, I mean, it is. It's very community led. I mean, and they talk about it as like a news aggregator, but there's so much more than news. There's so much more to it than just that. It's good for that, because usually there's so many moderators in a lot of these different groups that things that it's probably fact checked much better than a lot of other places, because as soon as someone sees BS, they're trying to take it down, depending on the subreddit and depending on the moderators. But
yeah, there's a lot of
That's one of the really interesting things about Reddit is there's the Reddit front page. They give you like 20 subreddits as your kind of list that you're subscribed to when you first sign up. And that's what a lot of people's overall experience with Reddit is. Hey, I've got these 20 subreddits, and I scroll through and see funny cat pictures and funny videos and jokes, and there's a bunch of stuff on there. And so that's what a lot of people's overall experience with Reddit is just the front page. But the subreddits you can subscribe to, there's a lot of stuff that there's like 15 people in a subreddit, and they curate stuff and they police it and they make sure that the information is factually correct. Like the science subreddit is
I
extremely
love the science
aggressive
subreddit.
about deleting comments that are speculative or anecdotal. So like they are aggressive about that. But then there's other subreddits like the politics subreddit and everything else. They're not fact checking any of that. They just make sure their civil discourse is kind of, hey, keep the discussion civil is what they post in there. But there's no fact checking. It's
No.
all the people are saying, oh, this is wrong or oh, this is right. People try and fact check themselves, and there's links, and it leaves it up to you to go and see if you agree or disagree with what people are saying. Um, but it's really interesting because it is so diverse, but it's also it's one of the concerns I've had with Reddit recently is that it's so diverse like that. Where if you're in some subreddits where they're policing things and making sure things are accurate, you're a little bit more safe to believe what they're putting in there, and it's not some sort of falsified information
Mm.
or trying to make money off of you or a scam or whatever it is. But there's other ones that don't do any policing at all. Like literally, it's just like if someone posts something on there and people upvote it, it gets upvoted. And that could be anything from information like they've had to create laws now on Reddit. I guess rules, they're not laws, but they've put in rules where they can't dox people, you can't witch hunt, you can't do X, Y, and Z. There's
No,
a
because
bunch
they
of different
did.
things. So they've had to go through and they've gotten rid of racist subreddits and things that people have started. Anything that's racist or hateful, anything that is
Promoting violence.
promoting violence. So there's a lot of things that they've had to go in and start policing as a site, which I thought was really interesting. And I think it's something that a lot of the big social media sites like Facebook and Twitter and everything else are having to contend with now. And it was kind of one of the big things I was thinking of is if you have a platform like Reddit, what is your social responsibility to police some of that stuff? And what by what metric do you police that? Your own moral barometer? Do you what the government's saying? How do you how do you structure that stuff? Because that's probably the harder thing to do for Reddit than the technical side of
Yeah,
things.
because I mean, you're talking about like an ethical dilemma at that point. You're talking about where is the line on what's allowed to be said.
And it's kind of on both ends because, like,
Oh, no, it's definitely all
that is
over.
definitely the beauty of it because there is freedom and things like that. But there's also got to be some sort of boundary somewhere. And where is that boundary? Where have you drawn it too far, one way or the other?
And it's not something that I think is quantifiable. It's not something there is.
The thing is, and like they mentioned,
a
no
line.
matter where you pick, someone's gonna get pissed
Oh.
off.
As soon as you have a popular website, get ready for people to be pissed off all the time. That's just how it goes. You know, that's the price you pay for having notoriety or having a lot of opinions about what you're doing. You get a lot of negative opinions too.
Yeah, I did love that about later on. Chris mentioned that is that like subreddit exists to criticize Reddit exists to criticize Reddit.
Oh, and they
Yeah.
do. They do. It's not like Reddit is not above reproach even on Reddit. That's not at all how it is. It's on like it is honestly people feel very free in saying what they don't like.
Yeah, I love how, and he said it kind of really magnified or kind of shed a light on that snarkiness. That the first comment when they introduced comments was a snarky comment of, "Oh, now there's comments. Rip. It's done. It's over. Bye." It's like
Right.
that was the first
Yeah.
thing anybody said was, "Oh, they ruined the website."
Yep, and one of my big PSAs on Reddit is every single comment that you read, just assume that the person has no idea what they're talking about and they're completely full of it. I went on one talking about looking at like how to do search strategy and recruiting, and every single comment there was like the top like 25 or 30 comments were absolute garbage, absolutely wrong. And that was when I was like, oh my gosh, the thing that like I'm an expert on and I'm reading about to see what other people are saying, everyone's dead wrong, everyone's real bad. And so to think, what are the other things that I've said? Oh, I know nothing about this. Let me go read about it. And it's a bunch of idiots saying stuff that they have no idea what they're talking about.
And
So
and,
I've
and you're talking about
I've
the
take
comments
everything
though,
with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it is typically the comments.
because they're
Sometimes
probably
Yeah.
much less moderated than the posts themselves.
they're basically only moderated for exactly what he was talking about earlier, like racism, sexism, homophobia, things like that. Kind of those major things. It's just like they just don't want it on the website anymore. Violence, things like that, and that's kind of it. I mean, there's some subreddits that are more extreme. Honestly, you kind of see a lot more moderation on political subreddits because people get so triggered that they just lose their mind. There's certain subreddits that if you're not of that political leaning, you can't post there. Just in general, those they just won't let you. And so there's some that and we kind of get into. Josh also sent over. It was one of the things I was thinking about. Is kind of the hive mind or the echo chamber, because yes, you can find a subreddit that's so specific to you and your interests, but when does that turn into like homogeny in a bad way where you
Because
start
I'm because my opinion is never being challenged by anybody.
we lost Josh.
Uh-oh.
We'll call him back.
I saw him take his earphones out. I think he literally was like adjusting one, and it probably like when you hit it, it just hangs up.
He's back.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear y'all at all.
We can hear you. Hello.
You can't hear us. Let me
Hold
check.
on.
What's changed?
I'll check some settings.
Okay. Audio.
Yeah. Same.
Microphone. Speakers.
Yeah. Anything, Josh?
That's what happened. Is he couldn't hear us, so he took those out and it hung up on us. Hello. Hello. Anything? I don't think so. Nothing.
The weird thing is it did just happen randomly.
We were in the middle of talking. What were we talking about though? Oh shoot.
We were talking about like hive mind, groupthink, echo chambers.
It's a good discussion. So let's wait till he comes back on, finds a way to be able to hear us, and we will continue the show. Hello. I get it.
Oh, he's bailing on him.
No, I'm going to put him back in. I'm just trying to reset him.
Yeah, I get that.
Bluetooth is an iffy technology. I love the premise of it, but it's not consistent as much as I'd want it to be.
I can hear y'all now.
Perfect. And we're back. But yeah, it's kind of the catch-22.
Yeah, my Audacity stopped.
Uh-oh. Your Audacity stopped?
Yeah, just
Probably when it lost the audio input.
1930. It
Oh,
probably
okay.
stopped whenever I hit the button
Yeah,
on my
just
headphones. Can I make a new track, or should I? I can just start recording from where I was at, right?
That might not be better. Make a new track.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
Because then I can
And we'll just do another
put you
sync.
back. Yeah,
We'll
we'll
do
just
another sync up.
Josh Zach Kirk.
All right, we're good to go.
All right, say your name.
Josh.
Zach.
Kirk.
So yeah, it's the catch-22 of Reddit. You can find a place where there's up to there's some subreddits that have millions of subscribers.
That's ridiculous.
And you can find millions of people who want to see the same type of content as you, but you kind of have to fight against you're all thinking the same way and having the same issues with things and talking the same way. It's kind of just part of it. And I mean, like with anything on the internet, you need to be skeptical because people will put false information just out like it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like, if you're in a like-minded group and that's all you're talking to about, you're not ever being challenged with your opinion or anything like that. And so it's a good thing and a bad thing in the same way as a lot of things. It's a little bit scary in some ways. You got to have some sort of challenge in life before you think that you're right about everything and everyone else is wrong. It's the echo chamber effect. I think that, I don't know if that's what it's called, but essentially that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is, you always have people agreeing with you. If you're a CEO that always has only yes men around you, if you have one person that says no, you think that they're wrong immediately without ever taking their opinion even into account. It's the same concept. You're just surrounding yourself by yes men.
Yeah, and Reddit's an interesting place because you get into Reddit as a whole and you start to see all these issues, but if you go into some of these subreddits, it's 50, 150, 200 people that are passionate about some certain hobby maybe, or some book series or whatever it is, and it's just a bunch of people just chatting about whatever it is, and it's completely just, hey, here's people that have the same interest. Whatever subreddit interest is X, you have that same interest, and you can talk to people at length about whatever nuances of whatever the thing is that you want to. Like I'm part of
great.
Yeah. So I'm part of like the yo-yo community subreddit, which is amazing. It's called Throwers. Yeah. That one's amazing. I'm part of a couple of role-playing game like D&D type subreddits, which are super interesting. They give like a lot of tips on like how to DM things. There's a lot of stuff about like free systems that are out there and content and stuff you can pick up for free. So that stuff's really cool. If you're into certain hobbies, you can find some subreddits. They're going to give you curated news and things that everyone else in the community is looking at and throwing in there. That stuff I love. But when you start relying on Reddit for your politics and for all of your news and for what's going on in the world, and you don't have any other outside information coming in, that's when you start getting the echo chamber, which I think could be a problem. I don't think it's really a major problem yet, but I don't think it's as open as it could be or should be.
I mean,
but
it can't be worse than Facebook.
See,
no, it's the same thing with Facebook. But it depends on who your friends are on Facebook is the thing.
Yeah.
Where Reddit is a community, and they've already shown that there's people that are karma farming and raising their posts to the top and things like that. So there is some manipulation. Same thing on Facebook, but it's.
I have a question because I just don't know. What does the karma mean? Does it mean anything?
It doesn't mean
it's just like a rep. It's like your rep.
Yes, and that's why I never understood why you would put so much effort towards getting it, because it literally it's whose line is it anyway? Money. The points mean nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't do. You can't convert it to money. You can't. I guess maybe somebody would buy a Reddit account with a bunch of karma, but why? Who cares?
Because it shows you're a proven Redditor and a community contributor.
Oh, so like a marketing angle.
When you go sell something on there, it doesn't look like, if you're trying to be like, oh, I just got this awesome thing, it doesn't look like a sales pitch. But if your Reddit name is I am MarsCandyBars.com, and you're like, I just bought this new Mars candy bar and it's so good, you know what I mean? Like, that's obviously a sales pitch.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I guess there's a marketing angle on it. But
I was curious about that.
They're worth nothing, means nothing.
So I thought it was really interesting when Chris was talking about, because Noah asked him, what is a mistake that you've made, throughout your years of being the CTO of Reddit, and he talked a little bit about how he made a lot of mistakes early on when they were writing the code, and basically they're still finding them today. And I loved that he was saying.
Sounds right. Is it in the search? Is it in the search bar? Because I think there's bugs there. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the way to search for things on Reddit is by Googling it. Like, the search function on Reddit is not efficient. You just search whatever you want to search and then type Reddit at the end, and that's what you do on Google.
But yeah, he talked about how he made like a rule for if you find my code anywhere in this build, redo it immediately.
Yeah, no, and I thought that was hilarious as well, because it shows he has no ego about the thing. He's like, hey, I built this to be quick, dirty, and efficient and get it out the door. Anything that I ever wrote, I haven't written code in X amount of years. So anything that I wrote is probably bad, needs to be rewritten at this point. So I thought that was a really interesting anecdote, and especially how he got tagged in a code change one morning, and he came in, he's like, why am I tagged in this?
He's like, "Oh, I wrote this."
Oh, it's my
It's like,
fault.
I don't
He's
remember
probably like, just
ever
fix
writing
this
any
garbage,
JavaScript.
dang it, just fix
Yeah.
it. This is
Yeah.
horrible. Oh, I wrote this.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I did this to you. I understand now.
They're like, so do you want us to take this out? Yes, please take it out.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite subreddit?
Favorite subreddit?
Don't take mine. You know what mine is. All right, well, I'll just tell you mine then. Mine is definitely the Today I Learned subreddit. I love that subreddit. I do like the science subreddit a lot, too.
Yeah, no, science.
Those
history.
are my favorite ones.
Today I Learned is a great one.
It is so
Listen to This is a great subreddit
I haven't
because
found that
it's
one.
all very low, like listen count music for the most part. It's a good one. Okay, there's for some reason, and one of my main beefs with Reddit is that everybody thought that porn was a name they should put at the end of something to mean it's good. So they do like nature porn, and it's like an amazing
Yeah.
nature picture. And it's like,
That
why
is weird.
does it say porn? So there is a subreddit aggregator called No Silly Suffix that is every single subreddit that has like machinery porn, earth porn, nature porn,
Food
everything.
porn.
They take the porn off of it and they put it into one feed, and it's called No Silly Suffix. So it doesn't say porn all over your computer when you're
Interesting.
trying to look at it. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, Josh?
I'm looking through my subreddits that I'm
Oh, I
subscribed
should
to
do
right
that too.
now. I mean, I don't know if I have a certain favorite one. It just depends on. It's just a crazy.
Okay, I'll throw out one.
List
Frugal
of
Male
things.
Fashion. That's a great one.
Yep.
Really cheap deals on clothes.
Throwers, the yo-yo subreddit's good. The tattoos subreddit is good.
Artisan videos.
Most cities will have a subreddit, so I'm subscribed to the Tampa subreddit.
Same.
It's mostly bad, but every
Is
once
it?
in a while there's something good.
Yeah, it's mostly useless. It's mostly like, hey, I'm coming to Tampa for vacation.
What should I do?
How's the coronavirus? No, they don't say that. I'm not.
It's not
they
far
might.
off though.
They probably are now.
The Lego subreddit is awesome. There's always people posting like
Ooh.
things that they've created and different Lego stuff on there. So that one's usually pretty good.
I want to talk to you guys at length about the Lego Masters show because it's so good, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. The home improvement subreddit, since I bought a house, I subscribe to that one, which is interesting and terrifying at the same time.
No, I can't let my wife know that I can fix anything whatsoever. She still is under the impression that I can't fix anything ever. So, I'm gonna keep her
on purpose.
I'm
a
keeping
choice.
her. I'm keeping her under that impression.
Okay.
I can fix a lot of things, but she thinks I can fix nothing. So, shh.
There's
Secret.
okay, here's a niche one that I really enjoy most of the stuff on. There's a cyberpunk subreddit. And it's a lot of like artwork and stuff people drew and different things like that, but also it'll be like some kid's prosthetic arm that has like a neural interface on it, and like other things that are like real life but are like, hey, we're moving towards like a cyberpunk future. So there's some really cool stuff there. And then I'm also on the Beards subreddit, so
Why?
lots of
Why are you on the beard subreddit, Josh? Do you have a beard? Yeah. you have a
So
beard.
Okay. Do you want to know
just
some
a lot of dudes
meme
with beards.
ones?
And right now they're posting pictures of themselves clean shaven because they had to shave them for their masks to form an airtight seal for COVID.
Oh, yep. It's crazy that we're dealing with like World War II problems. Like, that's why Hitler had that mustache, right?
No.
Yeah, Hitler had that mustache because you couldn't have a gas mask on.
What?
Because he was a.
I didn't never knew that.
He was a soldier
The
in World War
CDC's
One.
guidelines.
I did know he was a soldier, but I didn't know that.
So
That's why he had the weird
That
mustache.
is why.
when COVID-19 started to spread pretty rapidly, CDC released a guideline on what facial hair was approved for the masks, and the Hitler mustache was one of them. They called it like the toothbrush or something.
Yeah, it's
Like,
much better than the
who's
Hitler
wearing-
mustache.
What, like, why would you? Why no one's wearing that mustache ever again? It's just not a
Yeah,
thing.
he ruined
Charlie
it.
Chaplin.
Honestly,
He
if-
ruined names. He
No.
ruined, like
if there was a time for it to come back, it's right now. People have to wear masks all the time. I'm not saying it should. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that if there
If it
was a
ever
set
going
of
to, now would be
circumstances,
the time.
what?
This is the only time it would ever make sense for
Right.
it to come back.
If there was a set of circumstances that it could, not that it should, but that it could come back because it makes sense for the world we live in, it's right now.
I will say it is. I mean, we're completely off topic, but it is kind of weird how like he was such a bad dude that he ruined literally everything around.
Yeah,
him.
everything that he was associated with is like, I don't like
I would
that.
love to see how many people were named Adolf before he was born, and how many people were named Adolf after he died.
Probably not many.
Yeah.
Probably not many.
Like swastikas are another one. I think it was like an Indian or
It was a
Hindu
symbol for peace.
symbol for peace.
I didn't
It was
know
like
that
a-
either.
yeah.
I'm learning so many things about
This is
apparently Nazis.
This isn't even. Okay, oh God. Yeah, I mean that's how it goes. It's what can you do? But
Thank you
okay,
for teaching me so many
Back-
things about Nazis
back-
today, guys.
back on topic.
All right, I already have an edit. So
Back on topic.
no, I. So the reason that I ask you guys what your favorite Reddit subreddit is because I looked up some of the weirdest and craziest subreddits that are out there.
Can I give you some of my favorites that are like meme type subreddits?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, there's one called YouTube Haiku. The video has to be under 20 seconds.
Okay.
Sometimes really good. There's one called Perfectly Cut Screams. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do, because the whole thing is like you cut mid-scream, and it's usually like, I don't know, it's wild. There was one with Conan O'Brien the other day that was awesome.
I don't even know what that means.
Look, I'll show you
Okay.
later.
It's
but
like
look up,
it's like a video where someone's like walking downstairs trying to do a funny trick, and then they like trip on the last step, and they're about to face plant, and they're screaming, and it cuts
and
right
they
at the end.
cut, hard cut. No, but okay, if you want to see this, look up Conan O'Brien makes hand sanitizer.
Conan O'Brien's awesome.
He's hilarious. It's one of the
He is
best ones
funny.
I've ever seen.
He's very funny. So, let me just list some of these off. I will give a little bit more detail on some of them, but most of them it's pretty self-explanatory.
Sure.
There's a subreddit for people who want to remix the Thomas the Train engine theme song with hip hop. So they take the theme song beat of Thomas the Train and they make it into a rap.
Can I? Okay, and this is the thing that always gets me. It's the Mandela effect or the Mandela effect. Which one?
Yes.
Like Nelson Mandela or Mandela?
Mandela.
It's Mandela. It's
Okay.
Nelson Mandela.
So
yes.
the Mandela effect. Thomas the Tank Engine, Thomas the Train. I feel like I've heard both.
That one's changed over time. It was
Oh,
Thomas
okay.
the Tank Engine when we were kids, but they changed it to Thomas the Train because
Okay.
it makes more sense, I guess.
It makes me feel better because I was like, am I losing it? Like
Bernstein.
that one. Okay, that one got me.
No, I think that's the only one that I'm like, I don't know about that.
Okay, I didn't mean to.
Anyway,
I didn't
yeah,
mean
okay.
to derail you, but
So, Josh, it's funny because I didn't know you were going to be in here tonight, but I have this one as specifically because I didn't know what your reference was many times when you talked about the Slav squat. But there is a subreddit that's all about Slavs squatting. So Eastern Europeans just squatting. And there's literally thousands of people in this subreddit, and it's just pictures of Eastern European people squatting down.
It's so good.
there's plenty of opportunity to see this.
There is a subreddit for people who want to see sexy pictures of toasters.
Wait, okay. So, as in a well-taken photograph of a toaster, or like it has sex involved in it?
No. It has to be a well-taken picture of a toaster that makes it look sexy.
Okay. No, that's well clarifying.
The thing about it, toasters are fairly curvaceous, and a lot of them have mirrored surfaces. So that's what a lot of the
you can
pictures
two
are
for one.
apparently.
Yeah.
So there's another that reminds me of another subreddit that I know exists, and I don't know the name of it, but it's basically product photos people have taken for like eBay or Craigslist, and they can't get themselves out of the reflection.
Okay, that one's good. I wanna find that one.
Who was it? John
And I don't
Mulaney?
remember the name of it. I can probably find it if I do some Google foo on it. But if anyone out there listening knows what that is, tweet at
No,
tweet
John
at the show.
Mulaney or somebody kept doing that. They kept like tweeting out pictures where there was male parts in the reflection
Oh,
of
gosh.
everything, and he kept getting banned from it. He's like, "What? What's wrong?"
That's disturbing.
Yes.
So here's another one. It's kind of in the same vein. People, apparently, there's a subreddit, and a lot of people are in it, of people who like to see pictures of dragons banging cars.
Yep.
There-
It's gross.
so
I've stumbled across that one. I was like, wait, is this a thing? And I
It does.
clicked on
It
I was
does
like,
say
it's exactly
warning.
as
A
described.
lot of these pictures are not safe for work.
oh, weird.
It's
That's odd.
exactly as described. If you're wondering what's in there, what you think is in there, is what's in there.
I mean, it does say. I mean, it is r/dragons effing cars.
Yes.
And they, it's the real word.
So yeah, don't be surprised.
It's the grown-up word, as I
It's-
say to my kids.
It's exactly what you think.
I love this one. This is a wholesome one, but it's just so niche. It is a subreddit for people who love airport carpets.
I don't understand that, but okay.
And here's my favorite one, and I've actually seen some of the pictures, and it is great. And it's the fact that it exists makes me happy and scared at the same time. It is a subreddit. I think it's called Birds with Arms or something like that.
Birds with arms.
And it is just a subreddit of people who have taken pictures of birds and then photoshopped arms onto birds. And somehow it is amazing.
That's literally it. That's all there is to it. Is you put arms on birds.
And there's like over 100,000 people in
Yeah.
this group, guys.
No, there's another one called Birds Aren't Real, where they pretend that birds are like robots or drones, and just they're
Apparently
not.
there's a lot of things about birds, because there was another one about like the birds are apparently against humans, and there's like a war of birds against humans, which gives a lot more context to. Do you remember when we went and watched Mabim Bam in Nashville, and they talked about birds and humans being able to coexist? It's funny because I didn't know that was a thing until today. Actually,
Could be that.
Josh looks like he doesn't remember that.
I don't.
Yeah, there was definitely a long bit about the. I think that was the name of the episode as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was about birds being able to live alongside the humans.
No, but in general, we all, as you can tell, use Reddit. And so it was really interesting to hear the CTO and somebody who sounds like he came on very early on talk about the pitfalls, the process, the things that have changed, and the future of the platform, and really kind of dig into some of the technical aspects as well. The interview flies by. It's very interesting. Yes, there's some technical aspects, and if you're looking for that, if you're a developer or somebody that's interested in kind of the architecture of how people are building a site like Reddit, because the scale of it is crazy at this point, you have a lot there. But also, if you're just interested in general about some technology.
And they have so I
sites.
guess this brings us to our ad spot, our mid-roll ad spot for Code Story. But
Is this a mid-roll? It's going to be a long episode, everybody. Buckle up.
don't call that out, dang it. Our mid-roll is between when we talk about the shows that we talk about.
Okay,
and
that's
when
an edit. Last
Yeah, no,
year,
it's
people.
definitely an edit.
That's an edit.
So Noah does an amazing job with interviewing people, and what I thought was very, I guess, impressive to me was the people that he has on the show. Like, he has a lot of people that are very influential in the tech world that, for a podcast, I was very impressed by.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I listened to was about Squadcast, which
Okay.
apparently was I didn't even realize it till later, was the app that we used when we had Keith on like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you have used it.
I've used it. I didn't even know I used it. And but Code Story is an amazing podcast, and they did sponsor this episode as well. It is such a good show. They interviewed tech visionaries. I mean, you guys know that. We talked about that at length today. The way that they worded it, and it is true. It's like how I built this with Guy Raz, but about specifically tech companies.
Yeah, and I will say that we really try to not do anything because people want us to. And so the fact that they had sponsored last episode, we were like, oh, we can't talk about this show.
The fact that we keep talking about it makes it seem like
Yeah.
we did. But it's true. I mean,
No,
people
but
have reached out to us on Twitter and stuff like that, like, hey, review my show. And I will listen to their show. And if it's worth reviewing or talking about or discussing, we'll bring it up. But most of the time it is not.
No, mainly I say that to say this, is that the entire reason we're talking about the show is because we actually liked it.
Yeah.
And we were able to overcome our wanting to look like we were just paid out for this because we like their show. We want people to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I'm
really
no
did.
longer affiliated with the Podcast Discovery Show, and I like the show. I thought they did a great job of using the technical discussion to talk about how it impacted the business, how it impacted the product, and how it impacted the user. So it wasn't just technology for the sake of technology, but like, how does this evolve the product? How do we get the end result that we got?
Coronavirus.
How do we get the end result that we got based on how the technology evolved along the way?
Yeah, and and as soon as I listen to this, I mean, it may be a little embarrassing, but the whole time I listened to this episode, any episode of this show, I thought about Josh the whole time.
No, you
and so I'm so excited that Josh was on this now.
You mentioned that sometimes, like, okay, I know the perfect birthday present. and Josh is also trapped at home because he just got back from Iceland, so he's on quarantine.
Yeah, even if the state of Florida wasn't on quarantine, I'd be on mandatory 14-day quarantine no matter anything else. So I've been destined for this.
This is maybe the only. Never mind. I don't want to say. I was going to say I wish that we were on quarantine in some ways because we're kind of exempt, so we don't get the.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I would like to be at home. I got a lot of stuff I could get done.
You say
a lot of video games I'd love to play.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you're right. My kids are home and they drive me crazy.
There's one noise that his son makes that literally. That noise is all it takes for him to be very upset.
His banshee scream?
Yes, he does squeal like it's something special. It is ear piercing, but it affects him deeply.
All right, guys. Well, that brings us to this week's recommendation, and I have another one for you guys. Next week's recommendation is, I guess it's this week's for next week, is the 10-ish podcast. It reminds me a lot of My Thing Can Be Your Thing. It's a lot of fun. It's very lighthearted.
I miss those guys.
Yes, they were so good. They're so funny, and these guys are very funny as well. They pick a list of a top 10 list essentially of things, and one of the hosts knows what the list is. The other one doesn't, like the order of the list. So he'll tell him, okay, so it's this, and he has to guess which ones they are. And you actually end up learning stuff, which is crazy sometimes. Like this one that I want to recommend is about the strongest animals. And so that's the top 10 list. And it's 10-ish because sometimes it's like 8, sometimes it's like 12.
It's mostly 10.
It's 10-ish.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's a great show. It's fun. And I think it's time for a really goofy, fun podcast to listen to.
Sounds good.
So listen to the 10-ish podcast, the Strongest Animals episode, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Hey, Josh, get in on this. You got it. Finish it
And
out.
remember,
there's always more to discover.
We're going to talk to everybody on the live stream in a minute. And we're going to go
I
to
am
a
that
quick
live.
break.
I am that one viewer.
Oh, then Kirk, I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit record.
We're
Josh.
back, everybody,
Give
and
me
we
one
are
second.
ready
I wanna remind myself to actually do the.
for the Todds, the other Todds.
The other Tots.
Two Todds.
So many Red Bull burps. Ugh. We've been eating kimchi like every single day at work. Since the Koreans left, we've been eating kimchi every single day.
Know that this is live.
No, it's
Okay.
it's very good, but the burps are special. They're
It does a lot of things to your body.
talking about exploring your body. All right, let's hit record over here. Welcome to the Other Discovery Show, the podcast that's not about podcasts. It's about all the other things that we've discovered throughout the week. I'm Kirk.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Josh.
Wait.
Welcome back.
Who? What
I'm
was that
saying
voice?
Welcome back to me.
From the heavens.
I'm here. I'm back.
Josh is back for one episode only for my birthday. I am so excited. Josh, I miss you so much.
I missed you guys too. So, yeah, I'm back, and since I'm back, I think we got to pick up where we left off. We got to explore our bodies together,
Oh,
boys.
I take back everything I said.
This is a very
Let's do
special
it.
episode. Today, we're going to explore our butts together.
Oh man,
Hey,
it's a very special episode. Apparently,
I mean, there's so many things to say about the butt. So many things to say.
a
And
lot
I
of
found
things.
I found this wonderful article from Healthline that's got so many good facts about the butt. And I'm going to just go through a couple of the highlights here. So it's obviously the largest, most powerful muscle. Everyone knows that.
yeah, the butt muscle.
Also known as the gluteus maximus, which is probably the coolest muscle name there is.
It sounds like a Spartan gladiator.
Sounds like a
It does.
Roman emperor.
My name is Gluteus Maximus, and I will kill you in this gladiator arena.
Let me see. So, did you guys know that the popular dance move, quote, twerking,
Quote twerking.
doesn't involve your glutes? It's all hips. It's a PhD and well-known
I
glute
love how
guy.
you can't even say the
Wait,
things
okay.
without giggling.
Wait, just restart that. A PhD in glutes? Is that what you just said?
He's a glutologist.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it word for word. Brett Contreras, PhD, well-known glute guy, on
Glute
Instagram,
guy.
took twerking to science and discovered that none of your glutes are involved at all. It's all the pelvis.
I would love to see how much grant money he got for this.
Honestly,
Are
as
just
far as
the ride and glory.
as far as grant allocation goes, I can get behind it. That's pretty good.
Twerking has been around since the 1980s. It went mainstream in 2013 thanks to pop singer Miley Cyrus and became a fitness craze.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Everybody's like, you know what? CrossFit is stupid. I'm gonna start twerking.
Twerk fit.
Women have bigger butts than men because of their hormones. Science says there is an ideal, attractive butt curve.
Oh, there's a
45.5
ratio for it?
Is the ideal curve of a woman's booty.
Could you repeat that curve number?
45.5 degrees is the ideal curvature of a woman's booty.
That's the sciences for you right there. It's like, you're like, that's a booty right there, and then 45.5 degrees.
Nah, that one's not doing it for me. It's 46 degrees. I'm not over there. That one's 45. Oh man, 45. Right there. That's the booty for
Right
me.
in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Apparently, also straight men notice the butt almost last. British survey found that most men notice a woman's eyes, smile, breast, hair, weight, and style before they notice the butt. Only other traits that came after the butt were height and skin.
I mean, I can get that. Unless you're like Buffalo Bob. Skin is not like, skin.
Hey, girl, you got some nice skin.
Yeah, that's a sure.
Okay, can I tell you guys a story?
Yeah.
I went to Walgreens the other day, and I was in line. I forget what I was buying. It was like the smallest little thing, and it was like a 3-person line, and the person in front of me had a whole cart full of stuff. And I'm like, you just went grocery shopping at Walgreens. Their bill was like almost $150 at Walgreens. I'm like, what the heck? Anyway, so I'm in line for a long time. And of course, I'm like looking at my phone. I've got one item in my hand. And the lady behind me, she goes, I hate to embarrass you, but she goes, you have the nicest skin I've ever seen. And I'm like, thank you. She's like, no man's neck should ever look like that. It's so good. Because I guess like because you're looking at the back of my head. She's like saying
Back of your head is
I had the
ridiculous.
best looking neck she'd ever seen.
It's like I want to make a blanket out of it.
I was like, thank you. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Mommy, I need an
That's-
adult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. That's why nobody likes skin, because you can't be like, I like that skin. They're like, what do you want to do with my skin, that you weirdo? Get out of here.
So, for all y'all out there with a fat booty, fat storage around the butt might be related to intelligence, according to a 2008 study.
Sounds
Women
like
with
it's
bigger
published
hips
by
and
somebody
butts
with
on
a big
average
butt.
perform better on tests than those with smaller.
How did they
There we
convince
go.
anybody to let them do that experiment? All right, take a test. Now let's see your butt.
Also, for all our big booty listeners out there, there might be a correlation to big butts and longer lives. So get that fat booty to live longer.
I feel so uncomfortable
You're
right
throwing,
now.
you're throwing out so many things that I can't.
Scientists don't know why butt hair exists.
What? What does that mean?
We are exploring so much of
Our-
this one part of our
Isn't
bodies.
it just because we're mammals? Like we're just covered in hair?
There's extra hair on the booty. It's not just like there's no
Speak
there's
for
not hair
yourself,
on the
Josh.
butt.
Okay, you can speak for me too.
It's,
The way you
There's
phrase
a
it,
lot
it's
of-
interesting.
there's a lot of plausible theories, such as preventing chafing between the butt cheeks as we walk or run, but there's little to no research. So there we go. Anyone that's looking to do some booty research, go get your grant on why there's butt hair.
Okay, you just talked about somebody do like a research on butt curvature and like butt size and test taking, and you're trying to pitch like butt hair exploration. That is a different that's a different animal.
Don't yuck on that scientist yum.
No, I'm not. They're into it. The opportunity's there, but I'm just saying, generally, these are different topics.
Oh man.
I don't know why we let him do the butt. Like I don't know why we let him go right back
Josh
to the
takes
butt.
us to such
I'm
an
getting
amazing
to
and
the part
horrible
that-
place every time he's here. This is a place we
getting
haven't
to
been in months.
I'm getting to Kirk's favorite part. Hold on.
Popo. I hear Popo.
Speaking of which, Normie needs to get fixed so bad.
Hey,
And
What, did he bite
has
something
not.
else again?
No, I mean he's still doing the same stuff. But they canceled his appointment. We had an appointment for him to get fixed, and they've canceled it because of all this stuff. And he bit Mason the other day, and it like broke the skin pretty bad. Like it was
Yeah, no,
it was
pretty,
actually
pretty serious.
pretty serious. And he broke the skin on me 2 days ago. He's been a little dick.
Maybe this was like he had my snake, and I was like, "Give me my snake back," and he bit me.
That's exactly what happened. I've told him so
All right.
many times. I'm like, dude, if he's got something that you know he wants, don't just snatch it from him because he will bite you, and he does. Like if he has like his favorite toy or his bed, which
His
as
bed.
you guys
That
have
is
seen
by
the
far
videos,
his favorite toy.
he loves his bed.
He really loves it.
Do not mess with his bed. It's his girlfriend. and also where he sleeps. Yeah.
He's very close to his bed.
All right, you guys ready to jump back in?
Yeah.
All right. So getting to Kirk's favorite part, farts are a mixture of swallow air and bacterial byproducts, and most are stink-free.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, no, Kirk heard that episode of Dexplanations where it means if it smells terrible, it's like, oh, I'm super healthy. And so
Yeah.
now every time he's just like, oh, I'm so healthy. And
Yeah,
it smells
no,
like.
it's a fact. It is science. Science says that if you fart a lot, then your gut biome is healthier than other people who don't fart.
Chewing gum can make you fart. Sugar alcohols such as sorbitol and xylitol can't be fully absorbed by the body, resulting in a less pleasant smelling fart. Okay?
I'm getting shotgun with weird things that I want.
You are shotgunning us with facts that are just off
Most
the
people
wall.
on average fart 10 to 18 times a day.
I've never counted.
How, on that
There's a little
specific
breakdown.
episode, they talked about how many cup worth of fart every
why
person.
cups?
There's a
I think
there's a
last time you told me, I
breakdown.
was like, why
It's
volume?
like 4 cups of fart per
Four
person.
cups, just pour it out.
There's a breakdown of fart volumes. You produce more farts after meals. You produce less during sleep. Farts produced at a fast rate have more fermented gases and bacterial byproducts. A fiber-free diet can reduce your carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and total fart volume. So by not eating fiber, you can stop farting.
Yeah,
That
and
seems like a dangerous game.
Yeah, that is not worth to never eat fiber. Like,
And here is one that Kirk is going to love. The scent of farts could be good for your health.
Yes. Just stop
A
there. That's
2014,
good.
a 2014 study suggested that there are possible health benefits of inhaling hydrogen sulfide.
Oh wait, for smelling
smell?
farts?
yes.
I
Yes.
thought he was just saying farting.
No.
So while
you
the smell of
smelling the
hydrogen
farts.
sulfate is dangerous in large doses, smaller whiffs of this scent might provide therapeutic health benefits to people who have conditions like stroke, heart failure, dementia, or diabetes. So Kirk, I'm sure you have
Fart
no
on
risk of
everyone
dying
you love.
or from all of the farts that you've huffed.
Oh, man.
We should not let him do butts. It was a
This is
mistake.
this is a bad choice.
I got another one for you guys. Almost anything will fit up your butt.
Oh my. What does that mean?
Um,
Almost anything.
I'm going to read the article because
Yeah,
it's just
go
Oh
ahead.
my
we're
God,
already
dude.
here.
people stick things up their butts for various reasons beyond casual understanding.
Beyond casual understanding. What does that mean? Like, is it like a will it fit? Is that the name of this show?
So-
Will it fit?
Some
That
of
sounds
the
like a really weird YouTube channel.
Oh, that's not on YouTube. That's on Pornhub. That's not gonna fly on YouTube.
Some of the quirky things doctors have found in people's butts are a flashlight, a peanut butter jar, a phone, a light bulb, and a Buzz Lightyear action figure.
He did say to infinity and beyond.
Question:
I guess that's beyond.
wings extended or not extended?
Maybe that's why it was stuck, is they were not extended and then they were.
These are the important questions that you have to ask.
That's why I got in, but I couldn't get out.
Yeah. One of the largest butts in the world is 8.25 feet around.
What? Is that the one you showed us?
Yeah.
8 feet around?
There'll be show notes for all of y'all that are interested
Okay,
in
if it's in
big
the show
booties.
notes, it's gonna have a not safe for work in there. Like
It wasn't a nude butt that he showed us.
No, but like you can't just be looking at a giant butt at work. How are you gonna explain that? Okay, you're at work, and I mean, first of all, people are working at home now, so maybe not safe for work is not really a thing anymore. Like, not safe for working at home, you're good. We're not going to put that on there. But if you were around
Maybe this
other
is
people,
this applies more now than ever because you're at home with your wife.
she's like, why is that giant booty on the screen? It's like 'cause
Some
that's
turtles,
It's the world's biggest
some-
booty.
some turtles breathe out their butts.
We're 13 minutes into this episode and you're still talking
It's
about
just like him
butts.
talking about butts, just
There's-
shotgunning facts at me. I was like, what's happening? What does it mean a turtle breathes out of its butt? Like, how does that happen? Do they have lungs in their butt? Like, is that where the air goes in to their lungs?
The
Like,
article has links to a lot of the stuff that they have in here. So if you're interested in learning more about any of this, feel free to go to the link. They'll put it in the show notes. There's a little Caribbean mammal with nipples on their butt.
It keeps progressing. I feel like throughout this entire thing it progresses.
And he doesn't even name the mammal. He's just like, there's this random Caribbean mammal that has nipples on
Spoiler, it's a squirrel.
This article is under that fact. It says, while there is yet to be a person with nipples on their butt, it's not improbable.
What?
Based on what?
My face hurts right now from laughing too much.
Based on just things can happen. The universe
They
is
follow
crazy.
that with,
Who knows
although
what's gonna
rare,
happen to
It's never
anybody?
happened before, but that's not saying
It could
can't
happen
happen.
tomorrow to someone.
their follow up is, although rare, nipples can grow anywhere.
That's their. Okay.
I mean, if that's all it takes, it's like, yeah, that's real flexible. Nipples can grow anywhere. It's like, they could be on a butt one day. Could be tomorrow. Could be 1,000 years from now. There's no way to know. It could be tomorrow, though.
There you go, boys. That is. I feel like we've thoroughly explored our butts, and I don't.
We
think
have
I-
thoroughly explored our butts
I don't want to say that.
together.
But no, now I'm involved already. But yeah, we did explore our bodies together. So
And
yeah,
that was Explore Your Bodies
yeah, no, we're
Josh.
You're
And so-
welcome.
Someone needs to make a jingle for
And
that.
because there's literally no way for me to segue from this. Because how do you segue from that? I don't know. That's literally 13 minutes of just butt facts. So, I mean, maybe that really just tells us we need to make a podcast called Butt Facts and just explore the research out
Niche
there.
is king.
I mean, people have been faxing their butts on copiers for a while, so now we've got butt fax.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a fax with an X, but I'm going to segue by saying, hey, everybody, you know how we're all locked in our houses right now?
Yes, I do. Wait, we're not. But
There's one guy who's trying to reach out to everybody, even throughout the difficulties of the time. And his name is LeVar Burton.
I
The
love
man,
LeVar Burton.
the myth, the legend, Geordie LaForge, Kunta Kinte, the host of Reading Rainbow, the man, the myth, the legend, has decided that after all of this, where people are locked up by themselves, he's like, I want to read to people. Like, I want Reading Rainbow to be a thing for people even when they're locked down. I want to read to the kids. I want to read to everybody. I want this to be a thing. And so he was shopping around. He was looking around for different things that he could read to everybody because he has a podcast called LeVar Burton Reads.
Yeah.
And it is
Have we done that show before?
I don't know if we've ever covered that.
We've talked about
it for
a
sure.
lot.
But we should cover it
We did.
because he's incredible. He's an incredible, like, seriously, huge. Like, I'm a huge fan of just him in general. But he was like, everybody is sitting at home, their kids are at home, everybody's kind of like homeschooling and things like this, and it's just a weird time. And he was like, I want to take LeVar Burton Reads to like an everyday like live stream. I want to just make it something so that people can access it. And he's like, and honestly, there's a great Twitter feed here is how this played out.
I need to know about this because I love that podcast. I love LeVar Burton. I want to know.
He's awesome.
Where is
I'm a
this
huge
going?
fan.
I want to know.
Okay, so LeVar Burton tweeted out, in order to avoid legal complications, I've gone down the rabbit hole searching through volumes of short stories in the public domain for appropriate content for families and have come up empty. And then Neil Gaiman, the author of American Gods, of a bunch of like
Sandman.
Yeah.
That's like a comic book that he does.
very, very popular,
What's some
prominent
other ones?
author.
Norse mythology.
Yeah,
I think was the name of
Did
it.
he do the Necronomicon? Something like that?
I
think
thought
he
that was
did.
from the Evil Dead.
No,
mean,
there's
that
a
is an
book,
actual book.
that's.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
messing with you. But Neil Gaiman tweeted back at him, you have my blanket permission for any of my stories, LeVar. It's all for you. And then basically, now we all get to watch whether LeVar Burton is going to start reading Neil Gaiman stories because he's wanting to do it. So honestly, I'm hoping that a lot of people want to reach out to him And
a lot of authors. That would be freaking
yeah,
awesome.
and give him access and permission to use his stories, because the guy did Reading Rainbow. Like that, okay, that's one of the things that I appreciate Mr. Rogers more now as an adult than I did as a child, because I feel like we watched some, but it was more like I watched Sesame Street as a young kid. And then, but after I came home from school, Reading Rainbow was a thing. I would watch Reading Rainbow. And so he's just, I really appreciate LeVar Burton, and I really appreciate Neil Gaiman being like, do whatever you want to read, man. And it's just, okay, I'll say this. It's a trying time for everybody. And the Mr. Rogers quote that always sticks out to me whenever there's something tough is look for the helpers. And LeVar Burton is a helper. And it's just cool to see how things have changed. Because, okay, I was doing Creators Cove a lot before all of this happened. Before it got, like, dangerous for me to go out. And everybody shut down because Barvin...
You were going to, like, shows and stuff, you know, with lots of people.
A lot of times. But I would feel uncomfortable in that type of setting at this point. But I was going out a lot. I was seeing a lot of live music. But I was around a lot of people. And so when they shut down all the bars, and they shut down most of the music venues in this area, they've shut down a lot of things. But in the end, there are cool things developing from this, you know, because yes, you can look at it is a trying time. It's a kind of a scary time because we're kind of on the beginning swing of this. We're on the up curve, but at the same time, you see people adapting and trying to find a way to connect with people. We were just talking to Josh about how I've had multiple video chat calls with Josh already this week because we're all locked down, but we don't want it to be like we don't see each other because of that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've talked to my cousin from New York. I talked to my cousin from Texas. I talked to we did not get a hold of Gabe on either one of these, I don't think. He's been in school. But I've been reaching out to family, you know, and that's a good thing. And I've seen a lot of live streams of great musicians because they've lost
Mark
months.
Rebier?
Yeah, Mark Rebier. I've learned things that I will never unlearn because of Mark Rebier.
It is so good, though.
It's incredible. Seriously, check out Mark Rebier, Bonus Disco. It's so good, but not safe for work. Not like okay at home, fine, but
audio,
like,
adult content.
put on your headphones. Like it's intense, but it's awesome. But people are finding ways to change what the traditional path was, so that they can still interact with people. And so I'm always looking for kind of how there's going to be pluses and minuses that stick around after this whole thing. And some of the pluses are people putting out content directly to the viewers. So LeVar Burton reading classic short stories seems like a win.
So one of the things I've seen is a lot of teachers, my wife's a teacher and my son's in third grade, so there's a lot of that kind of community on Facebook around that and them all being out of school. So a lot of teachers are doing reading stories live on Facebook and doing like live streams of that. And the other day I was on YouTube and Clint McElroy was wearing like a wizard hat reading The Hobbit.
Oh, okay. If I would have known that was happening, I would have watched it.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
It's like there's so many cool things like that where celebrities are going on and live streaming them reading children's books and things like that to continue providing some sort of entertainment and education and everything else while everything's more or less shut down from a physical perspective.
Yeah. No, and I mean, we have to just look at the community. You know, we're all like literally, this is the first time in my lifetime I've seen something that everybody on the planet is in this fight together. And people are finding ways to reach out to people when we can't physically be around each other. And it's crazy.
The other thing that's been interesting is the restaurant and bar industry are getting hit pretty hard from having to close their doors. And so a lot of them are doing takeout and delivery. Mm-hmm. And so the coffee place by my house is doing delivery. So we bought a half gallon of like sweetened cold brew from them, and they came and like dropped it on our door with like a handwritten note.
We could shout them out. They're good. You're talking about Spatties?
Yeah, Spatties. So anyone in the Tampa area in Seminole Heights, Spatties is doing cold brew delivery. So if you want some good coffee during your quarantine, get at it.
They're good. It's delicious.
It is interesting, and that's the thing that I keep telling my kids, and I tell my wife. I'm like, this whole scenario sucks.
Yeah.
But this is literally going to be talked about in our grandkids' history books.
Yes.
Which is kind of nuts if you think about it. Like, this is one of those things that will be talked about. You know, it's going to be a question on their freaking, history tests.
No, 100%.
In the future, which
100%.
is crazy to me.
Today, trending on Twitter is that 3 million people filed for unemployment. We're talking about a global and potentially unifying. I'm going to say potentially because we always find a way to not unify when we could. But the whole world is in this together. And Mr. Rogers told us, when there's a time of trouble, look for the helpers. And that's what I'm trying to do. And LeVar Burton is just trying to be uplifting. And that's why I saw that article. I was like, yes, he's still just trying to be uplifting. He's still that host from Reading Rainbow that I remember from being a kid.
Yeah. Speaking of looking for the helpers, would you ever think that a wild boar would be a helper? Well, in Italy, apparently, there was some wild boars that were helpers in the fact that they got rid of $17,000 worth of cocaine by snorting it.
Okay, I mean that's a version of a helper.
I saw you post that earlier, and that is one of the most horrifying mental images you can think of. A bunch of like giant wild boars that are hopped up on cocaine and rampaging. That is terrifying. That will destroy a small town.
So the article goes on to, it talks about like the drug area of that part of Italy and things like that. But the funny and great part of the story is that these drug dealers were bad guys. They're bad guys, but they were trying to hide their drugs. So they put them in jars. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
No,
and then they
good.
buried it. Well, that wasn't enough to keep the hogs out.
How did they get into the jar?
So apparently they dug up the jars and then broke them and then repeatedly came back every single day. And
so the hogs got addicted to cocaine.
The hogs the wild boar in Italy got addicted to cocaine. And that's not a great thing. But the story is it's just so funny. I mean, the fact that drug dealers lost money because of hogs, and that's part of the reason they got caught, is because their freaking wiretap was caught about them talking about these freaking hogs.
Like, stupid hogs ate all my coke. They're like, what'd you just say? What did they eat?
Oh, it's just so. Gotta look for the helpers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Beat it.
So the hogs.
Feed it to the hogs, right, Kirk?
Feed them to the hogs. Har har har.
Nobody would understand that reference, but there's a great sound clip.
Yeah,
that we have.
It's from like episode 10.
Oh, it's real early, but it's really good.
It's one of their favorite ones.
It definitely is. That and like pit skiing.
Which was Daniel making fun of me saying pit skiing.
Yeah. But no, that's wild. I mean, that makes me think of that bear. Have you heard that story about that bear? So, okay, some drug dealers lost some drugs on a river, and they floated up on the river, and there was a bear that they found that had eaten like multiple pounds of cocaine in like one sitting. This bear was not addicted to cocaine. He was like, we're one and done in this thing, and we're gonna live our best life. And that bear ate like pounds of cocaine. And the joke always is on Reddit or social media stuff. There was like, for 7 minutes, that bear was the most apex predator on the planet because he was just coked up and losing his mind.
Oh, man. So, Josh, you are in quarantine right now. And what is the reason that you're in quarantine again?
Yeah, so me and my family had a trip to Iceland booked, and we were scheduled to fly out when the COVID-19 pandemic was kind of at its very early stages. People were kind of talking about it and like, hey, maybe we should close some things down to stop the spread, but it was really early on. And on our flight to Iceland, we landed and we both had, me and my wife both had several texts saying, "Hey, are you guys going to be able to get back?" We're like, I don't know what happened. So while we were flying, Trump announced his travel ban from international travelers coming in for discretionary reasons. Fortunately, that didn't apply to U.S. citizens, so we were fine to fly back. It was no issue there. But we pretty much timed it up as close to everything going as south as it has
You
as
did.
possible,
Because
where
literally
we
the
didn't
day
have
you
to
flew
cancel our
back,
trip.
Trump said, if you are an American citizen, you are abroad. If you don't want to stay abroad for several months, you should come home.
Yep.
Yeah, we watched. That's the only one that we watched together.
I was like,
and
I should text Josh, just make sure he's
Yeah.
all right.
like, well, he's
So-
on his way home, so hopefully they don't like stop the flight mid-flight and be like, "Hey, go back."
Yep. So I'll talk about the travel back first, and then I'll talk about the trip itself in general. But we just moved our flight up by one day and came back a day sooner, so we were there for plenty of time. Um, the flight back, instead of being direct to Orlando, like 8.5, 9 hour flight like we were supposed to, we had to stop in JFK, which New York has over half of the United States
Cases, yeah.
cases of COVID-19. And also, New York is flying a handful of planes to Florida every day, of letting New Yorkers come down here to party and do whatever they want in Florida.
Number I
And
saw
keep
was over 100.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but so we stopped in JFK. When we got off the plane, we had to fill out a form from the CDC. It was like, you have to fill this out, or we're not going to let you off of the plane into the United States. They had like our address, our name, phone number, email address.
That
our
is real weird. What did it say?
one that had symptoms. Have we met with anyone that has had the coronavirus? So it basically went through this questionnaire. It basically said you have to fill out this information for the CDC and for kind of like information and tracking purposes. And so we filled all that out, and then you get off of the airplane, and everything is backed up all the way up the gate, the actual gate that connects to the airplane. Everyone's waiting in line because the CDC have it blocked off, and basically you have to give them your paper, one per person, and they have to ask you a short questionnaire, and they scanned all of our foreheads to take our temperatures.
Really?
And, yeah. And so they were wearing like the full face mask, like you see in like a zombie movie, like the full like clear plastic face mask that go from here to like from your forehead to your
Like
chin.
from E.T.?
Like
Yeah.
from Outbreak.
So they were wearing these masks, and it was a little chaotic because people were trying to get to their other flights. And so we went through that before we could get through border control. But everyone in the airport, it was probably 60-70% of people were wearing the face mask and everything. So it was kind of eerie and ominous, despite knowing that it's not going to be life-threatening to me or my family based on our age and no underlying health issues. But it's still eerie and ominous to see something impacting that amount of people that directly. So it was definitely an interesting experience for sure. But having gone to country in the Shenzhen area, as well as flying through JFK, we are on mandatory 14-day quarantine, despite what anything the state, city, county, anything else says. We're mandatory 14-day quarantine. But come to find out, it's looking like we're having a shelter in place and everything else for the state of Florida. So
Yeah.
all that stuff probably got approved this afternoon, if everything kind of went as planned. So
No, it did. It did.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
no, I haven't
Yeah.
seen any since I
It
texted
did
you.
get approved, like we talked about earlier. Yeah.
Yep. So otherwise, though, trip was amazing. Like the country of Iceland has less total citizens than the city of Tampa.
What? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yep, so it's pretty sparsely populated. So it like when we were flying in, it was just completely black. There weren't lights everywhere. Like when you fly into a city in the US, you just see the lights everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
you can see the entire city because there's just lights everywhere. But there, you could see Reykjavik, and that's it. You would see a car driving just through the blackness, and you would just see the car's headlights driving. And it was just completely pitch black. It was wild to see. But since they're so sparsely populated, and a lot of the stuff to do there is outdoor activities, like we kind of just did our thing and had very limited impact. We ate at restaurants a couple of times. One of the restaurants we went to had a really cool thing set up. They had a vegetarian buffet that's typically self-serve, but due to COVID-19, they were serving it to you. And also due to COVID-19, they had QR scanners on all the tables. So you would take your phone, they made you use hand sanitizer before you came in. And then when you went to your table, they said, "Hey, we're not going to give you menus. Scan this on your phone, and it'll bring up the menu." So they don't
That's
have
so
to sanitize.
smart.
You can't sanitize a menu really. So we scanned those, brought up the menu on our phone, ordered from that, and then they served us the food from the buffet, and it was a vegetarian buffet. It was phenomenal. They had some sort of root vegetable that I asked what it was, and she's like, "I don't even know what the word for it is in English, but it's kind of like it's a root vegetable." I was like, "Okay, sweet, give me some of that." It was amazing. Some of the best sweet potatoes I've ever had. They had some feta cheese that was like really good. So it was one of those things where nothing sounded showy or looked showy, but when you ate it, you're like, this just tastes phenomenal. Like they seasoned this perfectly. There's just an extra layer of goodness on top of whatever you expected it to be. And I felt that way about a lot of Iceland's food was like, all right, I'm getting a cheeseburger. I'm going to expect it to taste like a cheeseburger. It's like, no, it's the best cheeseburger you've ever in your life.
What was the favorite?
Apparently,
What was your favorite thing that you ate while you were there?
cheeseburger, yeah. So they're known for well,
Lamb
I take that back.
sandwich.
There's two things. So, yeah, they're known for their cheeseburgers. That's like one of like the Icelandic foods. If you go there, you got to get hamburgers and cheeseburgers. But the other thing is they have a lot of lamb because they make like a bunch of wool sweaters. They have a lot of wool. They have a lot of lamb. They have a lot of dairy. So like their butter and yogurt and milk is all phenomenal. But they had smoked lamb and it's what like one of their core deli meats. So like if you go to like a gas station and look at their sandwiches, they have like a ham and turkey sandwich and pepperoni sandwich, and then like a smoked lamb and bean salad sandwich. And I was like, all right, give me one of those smoked lamb and bean salad sandwiches. I was like, this is so good. And one of the things about Iceland is eating out there is insanely expensive. Like for the three of us, it was at least $70. Like we paid
What?
30 $35 for like a small pizza at one place.
Why?
It's really expensive to eat out. It's an island, so they import everything, and it's a tourist economy. So I think
Okay.
those two things.
Yeah, I get that.
But so what we did was we ate out a couple times, and we're more strategic about like, hey, let's really eat out at the places that we really want to, and not just eat out all the time. So we went to grocery stores and bought groceries to make food like at our Airbnbs. And I saw a package of the smoked lamb. And I was like, oh yeah, smoked lamb sandwiches. So I bought two packages of the smoked lamb throughout our trip, and I ate probably 10 smoked lamb and cheese sandwiches.
So you got the equivalent of like Hormel uh, smoked lamb sandwiches with like Wonder Bread.
Yes and no, but so it's different because like they had Wonder Bread there. No, they didn't. They didn't have Wonder Bread there. I was confusing that when I went shopping when I got back to try and restock our pantry because we've been gone for so long. The only bread left was Wonder Bread, and I was like, no, I'm not getting that. But no, their bread there is like all like actual bread. Like they don't have just like a loaf of like Wonder Bread. It's like you have to get bread that has like grains and stuff in it. Like it's real food. And so even like their deli meats, it's like, okay, this is probably more like real food than just like weird canned whatever else we get whenever we go to the grocery store.
Could be true.
So that was one of the things I noticed in the grocery stores that was pretty cool. But no, it was an awesome trip. The food was great. The outdoor stuff is insane. Like you drive like an hour in one direction and you're getting the black sand beach. You drive 30 minutes in another direction, you're getting a 150, 200 foot tall waterfall. You're getting tons of ice and snow and everything else. It's such a cool country, and the scenery is insane. There's just mountains everywhere. There's this amazing tunnel. So we were going to West Iceland on the back end of our trip, and Kim's like, we can go this way or we can go this way and go over the bridge. I was like, oh, I want to go over the bridge for sure. It's probably going to be awesome. So we start going that way, and then we get to the bridge, and it's a tunnel. And so it's this
How is a bridge
massive
a tunnel? So is it? She thought it was a tunnel on the map, or
on
she
the
thought it was
map.
a
It
bridge on
looks
the
like a
map?
bridge. But when we get there, because it goes across the water, so she's like, "Oh, it's a bridge," because that's what we have in Florida. We don't have tunnels.
Oh, I see.
Get there, it's a tunnel, and it's just carved into the rock. Like you're driving, and you just see the rock wall next
How
to you.
freaked out was Kim?
Oh, she hated it the first time, but on the way back,
I knew it.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
but it's 6 kilometers, and it goes way down under the water, and then it comes back up, and then you're driving, and you're like, oh, that was the boat we saw on the other side of the water, and we're on the other side of it now, and you
That's
drove
so
underwater.
crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
So cool.
That is cool.
It's about as different as you can get from Florida.
Yeah.
Especially going when everything's covered in ice and snow. Like, there wasn't a time I was there that I was sure of my footing, that I wasn't going to slip or my foot was going to sink like a foot into snow. Like, it was just covered in ice and snow. It was so different than anything I'd ever experienced. I drove through like whiteout blizzards, wind, like trying to blow the car off of the road. Just everything was just so different and foreign, and it was phenomenal. So I highly recommend Iceland. The flights are cheap, the food's expensive. Go to grocery stores if you ever go to save cost there. But you could make a super cheap trip to Iceland if you get a good cost Airbnb, do outdoor stuff. Most of that stuff is free.
Smoked lamb sandwiches.
Go to the grocery store, stock up on stuff that looks good. You can still eat local food from the grocery store. And it was awesome. We did the Blue Lagoon as well, which is like the big touristy thing. So Kim had the best idea on this. We did our 8-hour flight there direct, and we had to stay awake so we could reset our clocks. So it was like 8 a.m. Iceland time, 4 a.m. Florida time.
Oy.
And we went to the Blue Lagoon, and it's daylight and like 30 degrees, and wind is blowing, and it's crazy cold. And we go to the Blue Lagoon, and you get in there, and it's so warm. It's like a bath, and it's like insanely blue. Like,
So that's like the hot spring thing that they have there that everyone Instagrams, right?
it's like neon blue, like blue milk from Star Wars. Like, it's neon blue. It's insane, but it's super cool. It's massive. That you can get drinks in there. They give you face masks. There's a sauna. It's super cool. It's a really cool experience. It is expensive, but it's worth going to because it's one of the like 25 wonders of the world. Like, it's a very unique thing, and it's worth going to at least once.
Experiential.
Yeah. But overall, the trip was amazing. Just furry horses. They also had furry horses, which are amazing.
Yeah, you told us about the furry horses, and you showed us pictures as well.
Yeah.
When we had this virtual hangout the other day, you kind of gave us a slideshow of your trip, and it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, the furry horses. We stayed on a horse farm. One of our Airbnbs was on a furry horse farm. So they were like.
Okay, what are they called? They're not called furry.
They are. They're specifically for furry horses.
I don't know their scientific name.
What did they call them?
Horsus furimus.
I didn't go.
You didn't talk to anybody from Iceland.
I talked to like people at stores. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like most of the time you're just outside doing stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not gonna lie. You showed us the picture of your Airbnb, and it was in the middle of nowhere.
No, it looked dope.
So one of our Airbnbs, they had to give us actual like physical directions, because if you put it on Google Maps, it wouldn't take you there.
Wow.
There's not roads to it. And they said they snowblowed everything up to the gate. Beyond that, it's mostly good.
It's mostly good.
And so,
come on, Florida guy, you got this.
Yeah,
everything up to the gate, they snowblowed. But then after the gate, it was literally like 4 foot deep of snow. And so driving the car through it, it was just sliding back and forth the whole time. Like, it was sliding like a foot or two each way, and I was just turning the wheel like crazy, trying to keep it going straight. It was wild. It was such a cool experience because it felt like an adventure the whole time.
Yeah, I can see
Kim
that.
would have hated driving, but for me, I thought it was part of
I
the
don't know if
experience.
I've ever been more jealous and so happy that I wasn't you at the same time, because I really want to gone to Iceland, but at the same time, I do not want to have been quarantined for so long.
No, but I mean, luckily your job is very flexible on like you being able to work at home is.
Yeah, we're doing, for my job, we're doing video chats in our morning meetings and afternoon meetings. We're doing a virtual happy hour tomorrow. So
A virtual happy hour. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about
That's
that later.
That's what we did
No,
the other night.
That is what we did the other night. It was my birthday.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to the part where we talk about, hey guys, we're doing a promotion about the podcast Discovery Show, and we have a bunch of T-shirts that we are ready to give away. All you got to do is go to your Apple Podcasts app or Podchaser and leave us a rating and review and just put your shirt size at the end. And if you put your shirt size at the end, you will be entered into a drawing for a free T-shirt, a Podcast Discovery Show T-shirt. And I'm not going to lie, these things are nice. They're made from our friend Richie from Brands and Empires.
And it was our favorite shirt that I got 14 of when we were in Podcast Movement.
Yeah, when we went to Podcast Movement, that's why we told Richie, like, dude, we got to get a canvas shirt.
We were doing research.
Because we got our money's worth of shirts when we went to Podcast
I didn't get
Movement.
my money's worth. I got money back. Like, some, but not all the way. It was worth though. It was an amazing experience. And Josh was there for that. Like, still when I think about the experience with Cal Fussman, it blows my mind a little bit. But I got multiple shirts that were Bella Canvas. And
Bella
that's
Canvas.
my favorite ones. Well, Sportique, obviously.
Yeah, we actually asked about that, but those were like literally, if we were to price those out, they were like $50 a piece for a T-shirt. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, we couldn't do it.
Yeah, we couldn't do that. But Bella Canvas is a very nice T-shirt. It feels good.
100%.
It doesn't like shrink too bad when you wash it and stuff.
No, it feels comfortable.
It feels really comfortable.
It's a shirt. That's a shirt I like to wear, and that's what we wanted to do when we made PDS shirts. So all you have to do is let us know if you enjoyed the show.
And right at the end, leave us your shirt size just in one letter: M, S, L, XL, XXL.
That's more than one letter.
Dang it!
That's too many letters.
But we're not discriminating.
And do we have any XXLs?
Shut up. No, we don't. I don't
maybe edit that to the shirt sizes you actually have.
I asked that because we told Keith we don't.
Yeah, I did feel that. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I mean, if we do, I'll send him one. 100%.
I actually have to look in the box. I haven't looked in the box in weeks.
No, I told him.
After I gave Josh his free shirt and you guys our free shirts. Did I give you a shirt?
I don't have
yet?
a free shirt.
I haven't given you a shirt.
No.
What size shirt do you want, Josh?
Small.
Small? Okay.
No.
It's an aspirational size.
We have small midriff if that's something you're interested in. If you want to get some belly button going, you can do that.
Large.
No, we got Bella Canvas because we wanted it to be something that you'd feel comfortable wearing. It feels good. Feels great.
We already edited it. I gotta pee real bad.
Dude, I was losing it. Actually, streamers, I'm going to just switch to BRB real quick because I'm going to just talk about things that I don't want to be on stream if there's anybody watching, and if not, don't care. Okay, everybody. You've heard us talk about ridiculous shenanigans multiple times. We are so glad to have Josh back on the show.
So much fun.
I have not forgotten about him. I've seen him. He's my brother.
I haven't seen him and I miss him. Josh, I miss you.
You hear that? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Sorry, Kirk.
I miss you so much.
But the final discovery for the week, like usual, is the band of the week. And this time it's Adam Randall. This is a guy once all this is over, please go check out Woodwright Brewing. This is a place that I went down in Dunedin. If you're in the Tampa area, go. It's great. Dunedin is sick. There's a free parking garage. You go down there, you can wander to the oldest microbrewery in Tampa. Well, in Florida, I think is what they claim, called Dunedin Brewery. And then right down the road from that, literally walking distance, is Woodwright Brewing, which Adam told me was originally like carpenters. They were building custom wooden furniture for everybody. And then the matriarch of the family was like, you know what, I'm going to start trying to make some beer. And this is all based on what Adam told me. I haven't fact-checked this, just so you know. But she started making beer. And then the beer took off more than the carpentry. But they have amazing beer in there. And every single thing is in there is like custom-made carpentry. It's all custom woodwork. It's amazing.
Sounds
Seriously, the beer is sick. If you like German-style beer that tastes like beer but good beer,
Sounds gross.
check it out. No,
Just
it's...
kidding. I don't like beer at all.
well, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Josh. Like, it's good. The Hefeweizens are...
I'm drinking a Yingling right now, which is a very beer-flavored beer.
Flavored beer.
No thanks.
They have great stuff. They have great music. And I talked to Adam down there, and we talked about his journey and everything like that. If you want to find out more about him, I have a Creators Cove episode about him. And he's a very kind of personal, he writes songs about his experience, because he has 4 kids at this point. He has a wife, he has a job, and then he has been making music for 20 years. So it's that just exploring life through music. And so this song is one of his newest singles. It is a song by Adam Randall, and it's called Hi. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. And thanks so much, Josh, for jumping on for Kirk's birthday stream.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, glad I could join you guys. This has been fun.
Bye, live stream.
Bye, everybody. Thanks
you
for
next
watching.
week.
I know
Thank
it was a
you
little
so
sloppy.
much.
Love you guys.